A very good morning to all the students of class 11th political science, and students, welcome back to the online classes here. And in the last video of the fifth chapter, that is legislature, we had completed our third part, and their third part was functions and powers of the parliament. And along with that, we also differentiated between the powers of Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. So today our new topic would be parliamentary officials. It is a additional topic to your syllabus according to the new revised syllabus, but totally in relevance to the legislature. So the topic name is parliamentary officials. Who are the important officials in the parliament, basically in relation to Lok Sabha? So the first one is here speaker. Who is speaker? We shall be taking in detail this topic about speaker here. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha, or Lok Sabha means House of People. We call it House of People, and it is also the lower house of the Parliament of India. As I told you, there are two houses of the Parliament. One is Lok Sabha and other is Rajya Sabha. So this is called the lower house. This is called the upper house. So you must know that. So we are talking about the speaker. So speaker is totally in connected towards the Lok Sabha. The speaker of the Lok Sabha is presiding officer. Presiding officer means he starts the meeting, he sees to it how the meeting shall be held, he shall see the total proceedings of the meetings held in the Lok Sabha. Okay, that is the House of People, or we can also say it a lower house of the Parliament of India. So speaker. Next point, important point is Speaker of the Lok Sabha is elected by the members of Parliament in the first sitting of a new government. So, as elections are held and the new government has been appointed after we have appointed the Prime Minister, he has appointed the Council of Ministers along with the President, with the under the supervision of the President. The new government is formed. As soon as the new government is formed and the very first sitting of the government is there in the Lok Sabha, in that very first sitting there is a election for the speaker. It means speaker is elected in the very first sitting after new government is appointed in the Lok Sabha. So any speaker can be a male or a female. So I have written he or she belongs to the party having majority. So this is a condition. Whoever is the speaker, he must be from the ruling party. Okay, party that is having the majority in the Lok Sabha. And second condition is he or she is supported to conduct proceedings of the parliament in an impartial manner. Once this speaker has been elected, he or she has to be impartial to the ruling party as well as opposition party. He don't have to think, or she don't have to think that they belong to the ruling party or the party in majority in the Lok Sabha. They have to be impartial while making their decisions. So so we can say that this speaker is among the members of the Lok Sabha, who all are the members of Lok Sabha MPs. Among them is speaker. But when there is an election or election for the speaker, the names are given to the president. If there are candidates more than one, suppose there are four candidates who want to be elected as the speaker of Lok Sabha, here these four names will go to the president, and then finally after seeing them, the president will finalize one date for the election or for the voting for the for electing the speaker. On that day, all the members of the Lok Sabha will vote for their own candidates among these four. So out of these four, the one getting the maximum votes will be elected as the speaker of the Lok Sabha. So this is a procedure for the election of the speaker. The next important thing now is powers and functions of the speaker. Powers and functions of the speaker. What are the functions and powers which the speaker has to perform in the Lok Sabha? Okay, as in the definition I told you, speaker of the Lok Sabha is the presiding officer. He is the officer who presides and looks after the meetings. He also selects the agendas which are to be discussed in the particular session of the Lok Sabha. So it's his sole responsibility. So one by one we shall be taking here what are his major functions and powers. Although there are many, but we shall be taking the important ones here. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha conducts the business in house. Okay, so whatever the business means, what are the proceedings are going on, what are the things, methods, or points, or matter of discussion, we can say whatever the matter of discussion and debate is to be held in the Lok Sabha, that all is presided and looked after by the speaker of the Lok Sabha. So he has the important responsibility and role to play here in the sessions of the Lok Sabha. He decides whether a bill, if there is a discussion and debate over a bill which is to be passed from Lok Sabha to Rajya Sabha and then signed by the president to that bill, so that that bill can become a law for a country. But it is the responsibility of the speaker to find out and decide that that particular bill which has been introduced in the Lok Sabha, it is a money bill or it is an ordinary bill. Because we have already read in the previous chapters, also in this chapter, also in the previous videos, that money bills can be only introduced in Lok Sabha. These money bills cannot be introduced in Rajya Sabha. So it is the responsibility of the speaker here to see it whether the bill introduced is a money bill or not. Second important function of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha is they maintain discipline and decorum of the House and can punish a member or for unruly behavior of by suspending them. This is one of the important and the most important function, as in your TV when you see the Lok Sabha channel or the Rajya Sabha channel, or you must have seen in the news also, there are various discussions and debates going on in the Lok Sabha as well as in Rajya Sabha. So in that there are ruling parties also, opposition parties also, so all the members, there is a debate. All have the rights to express what they feel in the Lok Sabha proceedings. So here there is lot of debates and discussion and many time quarrels between the different ministers. So it is the responsibility of the speaker to maintain the discipline and decorum of the house. It does not mean that if we have opposition party or if we have ruling party and we are there to debate, it doesn't mean we will not follow a discipline or decorum, maintain the decorum of the house. There are many rules and regulations which all the members have to follow, and those who do not follow those rules and regulations given by the speaker, if they don't follow, those members can be suspended by the speaker for the unruly behavior in the Lok Sabha proceedings. So this is also one of the important function of the speaker, to see the discipline and maintain the decorum of the house during the proceedings. This is one of the important point and the role of speaker in the Lok Sabha, that is that speaker of Lok Sabha does not vacate office on the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. If there is a dissolution or the Lok Sabha has been dissolved by any reasons, or the tenure of the government has been ended, okay, this government tenure has been ended, that is 5 years. Now there will be fresh elections within 2 or 3 months and new government will be formed. So new members of Lok Sabha will be elected by their by the people, okay, through voting. So during this gap time phase, during this gap period, speaker will maintain his office. He will not be removed from the office till the new government has been elected. Once the new government is elected, the members of this Lok Sabha, okay, or the legislature, they will elect their new speaker. Now till the new speaker has been elected, the old speaker will continue his office. Although the Lok Sabha has been dissolved, but he will continue his office till the new government has been appointed after the fresh elections and new speaker has been elected by the members of the Lok Sabha. So this is one of the important characteristics of the speaker. This I have already discussed. The speaker decides on the agenda to be taken up for discussion during the meeting. On every session, it is the duty of the speaker. He or she decides what will be the agenda or the topic of discussion to be held for a particular meeting or session. So all the agendas and topics for the debates and discussion and which bill should be discussed, this all are to be discussed by the decided by the speaker here. Okay. And one important thing is the tenure of speaker is 5 years. He holds his office till 5 years, but this is the situation here. He cannot leave his office till there is no fresh election held and there is no speaker elected by the new members of the Lok Sabha. The speaker also presides over the joint sitting of the both houses of the parliament. There are many bills where are lot of confusions and problems where one house passes the bill, other house sends that particular bill for the reconsideration or does not want to pass that bill. In that case, there is a joint meeting, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. There is a joint meeting presided over by the speaker. Although he is a speaker of the Lok Sabha, but in the case of joint sitting or the joint session of both the houses, where both the houses will come and discuss in the house of the parliament, in that speaker will only preside at that meeting. So these were the some of the important functions of speaker of the Lok Sabha. But there is one another I would say post, that is deputy speaker. He is also a parliamentary official. I would say that as parliamentary official is speaker, in the same way deputy speaker is also a parliamentary official, and his role, functions and importance are almost the same like the speaker. But let us see who is deputy speaker. The deputy speaker of the Lok Sabha is the vice presiding officer. Presiding officer is the speaker, but he is vice. In case, in the absence of the speaker, because of some illness, his death, or due to leave, he will be the presiding officer in the absence of the speaker. That's why it's written here, the deputy speaker of the Lok Sabha is the vice presiding officer of the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the parliament. Okay. Deputy speaker act as the presiding officer in case of the leave or absence caused due to by death or illness. In any case, due to speaker is on leave or he is absent because of that his seat or office is vacant because of his death or he is ill. In this case, till new speaker is elected, deputy speaker will take over the presidings on the meetings of the Lok Sabha, and he will act as the speaker in this situation. Okay. It is by convention that position of the deputy speaker is offered to opposition party in India. So this position of the deputy speaker is given to the officer or a member of the opposition party. As in the case of speaker, he should be a member of the ruling party or party in majority. Any party who is in majority in the Lok Sabha, this speaker is a member of the party in majority. But if I talk about deputy speaker, he shall be a member of opposition party. Okay. So this other conditions are same. If I talk about the functions of deputy speaker, those are almost same like the speaker. He is also elected for the 5 years, and elections are also held in the same way in which I told you about the speaker. The candidates who want to be elected as the deputy speaker, they also give their name, and their name is also goes to the president. Then president elects a particular date for the election, and again the members of the Lok Sabha vote for their candidates to elect deputy speaker. So he is also elected in the same way like the speaker. He acts as a substitute when the speaker is not present in the Lok Sabha meetings. Now after that, this is the last topic of our this chapter, fifth chapter, legislature. What do the committees of parliament do? Here we will try and understand what do we mean by committees and what is the importance of committee and what does these committees do. So we basically read about the functions of the committees in the parliament. A significant feature of the legislative process is the appointment of the committees for various legislative functions. As we know, the work and functions of the parliament or the legislature is very complex in nature. So they have lot of volume. If in terms of work I talk, they have lot of work and they have lot of work pressure on the legislature or the parliament. For that, a significant feature of the legislative process, there is an appointment of the committees. So this is one of the important feature of the legislative, that it appoints certain committees for various legislative purpose, for various functions to be performed and various purposes to be performed by the legislative. So alone it's so much of burden is there on the legislative or on the parliament, so they appoint certain committees to perform certain duties for them. These committees plays a vital role not merely in lawmaking but also in day-to-day business of the house. So if I talk about parliament or Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, so these committees are very important. Not only it doesn't help only in law making but also in day-to-day business of the house. So day-to-day activities of the house, these committees play a very important role. Since the parliament meets only during sessions, as we know, in the parliament all the members or MPs, they meet only when there is a session of the parliament for the discussion. So it has very limited time, so we can say these members have a very limited time at its disposal. The making of the law, for instance, require in depth. If we have to make a law, we need to study it in detail and in depth. We have to study each and everything related to that particular law to be established for that bill. So for preparation of that bill or that draft, deep study is done by these particular committees. The responsibilities are given to the particular committees who will take care of the deep study of the issues under consideration. So they will consider each and every issue which is coming under these particular laws or drafts. This in turn demands more attention and time. So it means we require more attention and time, and this attention and time is the responsibility of a particular committee or a department who has been given the responsibility for drafting a particular bill or law. Similarly, there are other important functions also, but other than lawmaking, there are other functions also, like studying the demands of grants made by the various ministries, looking into the expenditure incurred by the various departments. There are certain committees which are brought up, they only see the expenditure, that which department of the government is in making expenditure of how much budget for a particular plan or policy. Investigating cases of corruption. Okay, there are various committees which look into the matters of corruption. So these these small committees, they are very helpful to the parliament. This improves and make the functioning of the parliament smooth. As I told you, the functions of the parliament are very complex in nature, so there is a important need of these committees. Since 1983, India has developed a system of parliamentary standing committee. So after 19, there is a system of parliamentary standing committees. These are over 20 such departmentally related committees. There are around 20 such committees. Standing committees supervise the work of various departments. So what is the work of these standing committees? These standing committees will supervise and look after the work and see the progress of the work done by the various departments. Okay, their budgets, what budgets they are using it correctly or they are misusing it, their expenditure, their bills can come up in the house relating to the department. So if there is any problem, their bills, they can that committee can bring up those bills of a particular department to the house for discussion. So this is the important role of the committees here. So from here we can also understand, yes, we can also see it from here, the committees system has reduced the burden on the parliament. As I told you, the work and functions of the parliament are very complex in nature, so there is a lot of burden on the parliament, whether talking about Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. So it is a some part of their burden has been given to these committees, and they are very efficient in working and they are very helpful to the parliament. Many important bills have been referred to committees. So all the many important bills are there, and for the detailed study and deep understanding of these bills and drafting them, the responsibility is given to various committees, maybe related to agriculture, technology, maybe related to industries, or maybe related to any sector, important sector. Okay, the parliament has merely approved the work done in the committees with few occasional alterations. Of course, legally speaking, no bill can become law. Yes, it is right that no bill can become law without passing it from both the houses, but still all the important work of this bill and drafting of this bill is done by the various committees. Okay, and no budget will be sanctioned unless approved by the parliament, but the parliament rarely rejects the suggestion. So whatever the sanctions and considerations are given by the committees, parliament accepts it, it never rejects it. Okay, So here is the role of committees have been very important in the functioning of the parliament and also reducing the burden on the work of the parliament. So with this we come to the end of this chapter. From the next topic or the next video we shall be starting the next chapter, that shall be I think judiciary. Till then, thank you.